for people who are not here. Hello, Eric. Eric, can you hear me? Eric, I cannot hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, Adelma, hi.
Oh, hi, Dr. Zay. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good. Am I late? No, I'm not late, am I? Okay.
No, you are not late. We have 2 minutes away. Still, we have. Hi, Doris. Okay, I think we have at least one member from each group. This is good. Are you ready for Thanksgiving, all of you?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, no. Still have time. Still have time. So one week. So that's fine. So okay. Lee, are you? So let's wait 1 minute. Eric, if you can hear me, you can call through the Zoom and then see the video over the computer, so you could see and talk and also communicate over the phone. So you can keep your Zoom as it is and call me over the phone, call to the Zoom so you can hear. And if you have any question, you can ask your question. Okay, is it you, Eric?
Yeah. How you
Oh,
doing?
perfect. Oh, I'm very good. How are you?
All right.
Excellent. Okay. Okay, we are in the 5. Okay, it's 5 class. Okay, let's start Zoom, Shirley, and thank you all for coming here. And then may I ask you to just tell me what's your group number and what's your role in the group. So I like to have a progress report from each group. Let's start with Lee. Lee, please, you go first, please.
Okay, I'm with Adelma, so we're both in part of group 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let her, I don't, she's the group leader, so I'll let her give you more of the progress report.
Adelma,
But
okay.
I think we're making decent progress. We're moving in the right direction. So
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Hello, Adelma, do you want to go and continue about
sure,
your
there's
group?
4 of us, so we kind of split the task into like 2 people are dealing with section 2 and 2 people are dealing with section 3. Lee and Melissa, I forget her name all the time.
Melanie.
Yeah, dealing with group 3, so I see they're communicating and running the program and all that stuff. And with me and Lawpole, we're dealing with section 2, which involves a review manager.
Mm-hmm.
I downloaded that, but when I'm looking at the manual, I'm lost. And I know
we will review today, no problem.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I downloaded it, and I know we're supposed to identify like I think 5 articles to use the system. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I'm a bit confused on what article I should identify or type. So that's where I'll So yeah, all that.
Okay. Adelma, your group has 4 members, correct?
4 members.
4 members. Okay. And you are in group 3.
Group 1.
Group 1. Oh, group 1, 4 members.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. Doris, you are in group 5, right? Group 4?
Group 3.
5? Group 3.
Group 3 with 3 members.
Okay. Okay, let's go with Cynthia. Cynthia, are you in the same group? What's your group? I know you are.
I'm in group 4. We have 5 members.
Cynthia. Group 4, 4 members or 5?
5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we kind of broke up the assignment for like 3 people in group and to do section 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 people to do section 3. And then I guess parts of section 2 is going to be incorporated into section 3 anyway. So I might need one of them to work on that, just in a small section of that.
Okay.
But otherwise, I know some of us have already downloaded that RevMan 5. We're just trying to see how to use it now. And then we've already chosen 5 articles that we've all agreed on already.
Okay.
And then as far as the section 3, I've already started, myself and Eric have started working on that. I don't know how far along he is with that, but I've gotten a good portion worked out prior to getting the data sets and all that.
Okay.
To input that, calculations and graphs and stuff.
Okay, I forgot to ask from Adelma, what's your topic, Cynthia, for group 3?
Oh, it's comparing annual percentage of Medicare enrollees having at least one ambulatory visit between Black and white.
So you know how to do that, you already have, because we already work on assignment 2 and 1 and 2. So is there any question about that?
Well, I did have a question last time, but you said you will review it today. So I guess my question was, I know the data is supposed to be collected from the Medicare National Data by County CVS file. But then I guess my question was how to condense that to only get the information that I need for the ambulatory visits, because there's a lot of variables in there.
Okay, you need only 2 variables: percent of ambulatory for Black and percent of ambulatory for white. So I will explain that. So please please keep your question and remember to ask me before.
And I think my other question was, I guess where to get the codes from that, for that.
Okay. Okay.
I have the data set, but not the codes.
The data set is already in the class instruction. The same data, CMS data you use for the, I don't know what was your topic. I don't remember your topic when it was in 1 and 2.
Okay, so I'm just copying the code and just replacing. Okay, I'll work on trying that.
The second part of the the team project is exactly like individual assignment 1 and 2. I have a plan to add a regression model, at least not for this semester, for the next semester. I think it's very easy to go for now. So you have to be a little bit challenging, I believe so. So this is the plan for the next semester, not for this semester. Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Okay. Adelma, I forget to ask your topic. Only you can answer that question. Okay, Adelma. So, Adelma, what is your topic for the
The topic is comparing percentage of Medicare beneficiaries Part A eligible between B and W. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have a code for that?
I thought we were using the Medicare.
Okay, cool.
I know Lee and the team, they're doing that part. So maybe Lee can answer better.
We do have the codes. Melanie and I have been having difficulty in getting our codes to match up.
Okay.
And then yesterday, just when I got them to match up, she responded back and said that her codes were all wrong. And so now we're back to not matching at all.
Okay. Okay. So if you have any question about the codes for the team project, please send me the draft of codes. I mean, I'm talking to you and all the members of the class. Please send me the draft of your code, not later than Monday after tomorrow. I mean, because we are going to the Thanksgiving, and I hope you can finish everything by Monday, by maybe evening of the Wednesday. Then you're gonna be okay for free for the Thanksgiving. Okay, thank you. Sure, yes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that last part about the Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I mean, because we are going to Thanksgiving, so I was thinking, I mean, hopefully you can finish the team project by Wednesday. This is my hope. You have a time by Sunday, but I hope you can finish it by Wednesday. This is my hope for you.
Oh, is the project due December 1st or December 8th?
It's the 8th.
Yes, it's the 8th.
You are right. I'm mistaken. You have 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was a heart attack.
You are good. My fault. I understand. You have 2 weeks from now to work on the project. Try to finish the Wednesday week after, okay? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, that sounds better.
Okay, that was surprise, right?
That was
It's very stressful.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Eric, do you want to go for next one?
What are y'all laughing at?
Yes, I'm sorry.
He's actually in group 4 too.
Okay, who is the leader for group 4?
Shut up.
I guess I
Teresa,
am.
Oh, you are
yeah,
saying, okay,
yeah,
you already discussed about group 4. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Yes, Cynthia
Then that's
definitely is
fine.
taking the lead.
Then that's
Okay.
fine. Thank you. Doris, I think you are in group 5, right? Group 3.
No, group 3. We're in
And
group
I know
3.
you have 3 members only,
Yes, that's
including
it.
you. And thank you for accepting being a small group. Thank you so much. Okay, so what's up about your group 3, Doris?
We're working through our ways on it. Actually, Sierra is the team leader. I'm not sure if she's in the live stream right now, but we have some sort of like plan to do. But what I noticed is on step 2, it's more the qualitative analysis. It's part of week 6 and 7, right? If I'm
Yes,
not
it's
mistaken.
part of week 7.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just worried. I was like, okay, step 2, I need to get this done first. But I saw that it's part of that area. For the step 3 portion, we are halfway done for it. We just need to kind of polish the paper and everything.
Okay.
Because right now, Sierra and Traquan, they're both using Excel, and I'm the only one using RStudio. So I'm kind of leaning for them to like do their own, like, because I cannot do, I mean, I have to either agree or disagree.
I see.
I just go with Excel, with what they're more, I guess, for their own convenience, and I can contribute what are the areas that they need to pull out.
Okay.
But we're on the right track.
And can you remind me your topic, Doris?
Our topic is the comparing annual percent of Medicare enrollees having at least one ambulatory between Alabama and Arkansas state.
Okay. And okay, if you are working with RStudio, because they are not able to add density plots and box plots, it's possible you can add that section if you are using the RStudio. Then
yeah, that was my plan too, is just in case.
Okay.
Kind of like piggyback, I guess, Excel and RStudio together.
Okay. And for your team, so you can just select only three articles because you have your team has only 3. So
okay, cool.
For other teams, I expect 3 till 5 articles, at least 5 articles. For group 3, you stay with 3 articles.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Professor. Rita here.
Hi, Rita.
How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much.
Our group also have 3 members. That's Sharika and...
You are which group?
Group 5.
Group 5. Okay, go ahead, Rita.
So we, our topic though, I'm putting everything up.
Okay.
We have been discussing it. Our topic, we were trying, because our states we chose is not on that data set. So, so the data set we have, the one that says MN HCCIS imaging procedures, that data set only saw Minnesota, North Dakota, it's Wyoming and South Dakota on that data set.
Shrika is in your team, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I think she emailed you yesterday.
She emailed me yesterday, and I asked her to inform the team that you cannot go with a different state for the imaging data set. Please compare the MRI and PET-CT. This is your topic, right?
Yes.
So please do it for entire states. So your topic is going to be comparing number of procedure between MRI and PET-CT. So no states.
So no state, just between MRI and PET-CT. Okay,
yes,
okay.
So.
Yes, Professor. Hi, this is Teresa here. My project is with the comparing the number of MRI procedures and PET procedures of all states. So,
okay. Are you in group 4 or group 2?
2, yes.
Group 2. Okay.
So we can still do it with comparing all states, correct?
Yes. Because if you look at the data set, the image, there is a few observations for the other states, but you need to have at least 30 observations to run a t-test. Otherwise, you need to go with a man-weekly tests.
Okay.
And then it's not encouraging.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to the Rita. I will back to you, Teresa. Rita, who is working on the codes? Who is
because the other two team members are using Excel.
I see.
So
okay.
Our studio.
Oh, you are working on the codes.
Yeah, but I don't know where the codes are right now.
Okay, send me the draft of your codes. I will look at it and back it to you. Okay.
Okay. So that's
all the teams. You can send me the draft of your codes. But I believe most of you already work on similar projects in the assignment 1 and 2. But in case you have any questions, send me the draft of your codes and please remember to add your topic in the email so I can see how can I help you.
Okay, one more question, Professor.
Sure,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Rita again. The RevMan, I haven't downloaded it yet. I don't know how to get that.
I will read you the RevMan today.
Okay, thank you.
And Rita, you say your team has 3 members?
Yes.
Okay, then you stay with 3 articles only.
3 articles, okay.
3 articles. Each member at least 1 article, okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure, and all the team, please make sure to use the peer review article. So please don't go to the web, don't use a report. It's not possible to do the bias table for the report and the web-based article. So if you are hesitating which article is a good or no, please make sure to send me. Let's do it. Let me rephrase my sentence. If the team leader believes that that article is not suitable for this, please send me an email and confirm with me. This is otherwise I trust all the team members to make a decision about the articles. Okay. Teresa, do you want to go for group 2?
Do I want to go for group 2?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to explain about group 2, what's happening in your team, and how many members do you have? Are you a team leader, Teresa?
No, I'm not.
Who is the team? Who is team leader of group 2?
I believe it is. Hold on one second.
If no one is here, please tell me a little bit about the progress of your team.
I mean, right now, pretty much, come up with we've broken down everyone's what everybody is responsible for and so on and so forth. And as far as writing, I mean, we've just been throwing around ideas and everything via email. But we haven't, or via text as well. But we haven't actually started to write the paper yet.
Okay. And how many members do you have?
I believe it's 6 of us.
You are lucky. So stay with 5 articles. Don't go with the 6 articles. Okay. So 1 member can work on the other section. The maximum number of articles for qualitative analysis is 5 articles. So I don't need any team with even more members to go with 6 articles.
So we should stick with 5?
5. The max, yes. The 5 is for the members. The team member with 4 or 5 or 6 members should go with the 4 or 5 articles.
Okay.
The team
and Sarah is our leader.
Okay. Sarah just sent me an email that she's not able. She's traveling. She is not able to join the Zoom session today.
Yeah, she did say that.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So from what I'm hearing, are you indicating that when it comes to the analysis for the articles, that team member are supposed to analyze an article, or because I know there are 2 of us that are going to analyze the article, so I need clarification on that.
No, I said for the title for the type of articles, because I ask. You should go with a peer review article. I said, okay, if you are not sure that your article is a peer review or not, confirm with your team leader.
Okay.
If the team leader was not able to confirm that, she or he can send me an email and confirm that. So this is the point. But for the analyzing of the qualitative, I'm gonna go through the team project and explain I'm gonna go with the RevMan, and then I will explain what type of information you need to do that, and then I'm gonna spend a few, maybe 5 minutes just for the quantitative part, because the quantitative part is exactly like individual assignment 1 and 2, and I believe except 1 or 2 member, all of the class did the individual assignment 1 and 2.
So I do have one question also.
Okay,
So for I see where it says that the submission should be no more than 20 pages. So I mean, so does that mean that each group member should be producing about 3 to 4 pages a piece or something like that?
Yeah, we're limited to the number of pages to 20. So I mean 16 to 20 pages. So you know, it depends on the responsibility on the team. For example, if you have a 5 members, so each member should go with the article and then summarize the article. This is the main responsibility for each members. And then there is a table of bias. At least 2 members should work on the table of bias.
Yes.
At least 1 member should work on the RevMan.
Yes.
At least 1 member you should work on the analyzing or using Excel or RStudio. All member and 1 member should just write about that.
Okay.
All members should review the articles in the final product. This is the type of, it's kind of the authorship for a paper, right? So the authorship needs any significant contribution from all members.
And this will be posted like the other live sessions, correct?
I will do post this, yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay, any question before I'm starting RevMan? Okay, let's go to the RevMan. RevMan is someplace like here. I have lots of files open. Which of them is? Let me go with the screen 1, and I bring the RevMan here. You can see yourself, right? No, this is the RevMan, right? Can you see the RevMan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason the RevMan is so slow. I don't know what, because the previous time I didn't have any problem with this, but it's so slow. I'm not going to start from the first step. So I assume that you have installed the RevMan. So if you have installed the RevMan, you can see a place like this. You can see something like this. Let me minimize this. Okay. You can see the environment of RevMan is like this. I'm going to post this example to the class, so then you can use this example for just changing the name and the bias table, and then compute, and then graph the bias table. The main reason you are going to use the RevMan is because you need to graph the bias table. So let me go ahead with the individual, with a team project instruction, then I'll let you know what, whenever you have some information, you are ready to use RevMan. Otherwise, the RevMan cannot help you anymore. Okay, let's review this table in the team project instruction, and then after that, I will go through the RevMan to give you an example. Can you see the instruction, right? You already downloaded the instruction. Is it the instruction? Can you see this now? My screen is a RevMan or the step-by-step team assignment now?
Yes, I see that.
This is team project, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it. You have to choose 5 articles for the group members 4, 5, and 6. And if you are in a group with the 3 members, then you're gonna select 3 articles. For each article, the concept for this is in the week 7, and I believe you already have access to that. You can look at the type of matter, because I gave access to the class from the beginning of the class. You can see anything you like in the class. We're gonna unlist 5 type of bias, and the definition of the bias is here. We're gonna go with a selection bias. And the selection bias defined as systematic differences between baseline character of the group that are compared. Because the reason I say you should go with a peer-reviewed article, because you need to have an article that use the data. Please do not choose the article that just a literature review or something like a descriptive article that you don't have any number on that. You are not able to do the selection bias. The article should be a quantitative analysis article. So the articles, for example, comparing the mammogram between black and white, comparing the diabetes between 3 states. I'm just making some example. Quantitative analysis articles. So this, based on that, if you're gonna go with 5 type of bias, selection bias is systematic. If there's this is the definition for selection bias. There is a significant differences between baseline character of the group that are compared. For example, if you are reading an article, the article explained, okay, we go to Maryland, we selected 200 people, and then we go to the Virginia and we selected 300 people. And then, okay, I'm gonna say, okay, and based on this information, I'm guessing the paper has a selection bias because I expected to see with comparing the population of Maryland and Virginia, I expected to have higher sample in Maryland. So if the paper said 200 and 300 without an explanation, I'm gonna say, okay, this paper has a bias in the selection. This is a definition. And author 1, you should go, for example, Zare 2019, you should go with something like this, right? This is it, on 2019. You put the author, you should put them here, right? You're gonna go with my name, for example, see, I write a paper and you're gonna use this. And for example, you have Doris, you have another article. Doris, you should go with your last name, but I remember your name, so you publish your article. You have the other article here. Teresa, you have an article, you're gonna have Teresa. Am I right with your name? That's this incorrect, right? Teresa, it should be like this. 2020, you're gonna have an article. It should be 2018, for example. Rita have another article, 2017, and Lee has another article in 2015. So this is all the name of authors. So I'm gonna, whenever you have this, and even if the article has more than two or three names, please just stay with the first name. So don't add all of them here. Okay, the selection, I explained about the selection bias. I'm gonna review this article. I'm gonna say, okay, this article has a selection bias, yes. Systematic differences between group in the care, in the care that is provided or in exposure to factor other than the intervention of interest. This is the definition for performance bias. So if you read the article and you see, okay, there is not enough explanation about what they did in the article, so potentially article is a candidate for the performance bias. So I'm gonna say yes, this is a performance bias here. For the detection bias, the definition is the systematic differences between groups in how outcomes are determined. So I'm going to read the article and see, okay, there is no detection bias because the article is clear. There is a clear message on the article and they conclude it very well. Attrition bias, the definition is a systematic differences between group in withdrawal from a study. So if you're reading the article and see, okay, they eliminated some group and there's explanation for that, the article doesn't have this type of bias. But if you, for example, there is not enough explanation and you really don't know, is it a bias or you don't know, you can say go with a U as an unclear, right? Unclear or U. And then systematically difference between reported and unreported finding. If someone work on the, for example, black and white and discuss in the US, no black and white. I mean, if you read the article, some articles, so they discuss something differently than the research question. So this article has potentially a risk of reporting bias. These are type of bias. So, and you know, for completing this table, at least 2 members should work on this. I mean, this is me, and then for example, consider the door is gonna review the same article and it's gonna say, okay, yes, this is the same bias here. There is the same bias here. No bias, yes, Doris believe this is a bias here. And Doris believe this is unclear also, but it's gonna say this is no here. Then, if you look at this table, you don't know what should you do with the detection bias. Is it yes or no? You're gonna go with a reporting bias. What's the solution here, class? What you gonna do with this type of the problem? If you find something like this, what you gonna do? Because for each article, at least 2 members should read the article and define type of bias. So for each article, if you have 5 articles, there is 10 reviewer, right? Each of you gonna review 2 articles at least.
Okay.
For each article, at least 1 person gonna summarize the article, but for this table, at least 2 members should define this type of bias. So my question is, I'm comparing my findings, my analysis with the Doris analysis, and we are agreed in the first and second selection and performance bias. And we are agreed on attrition bias, but we are disagree in the detection and reporting bias. What's the solution? What should I do?
Get the opinion of another member?
Exactly. You need a tiebreaker, yes.
Yes.
You're gonna go with a second, third person, and she's gonna say no. I'm gonna go with the average of this. I have 2 no and 1 yes. I'm gonna say, okay, the result is no. And the same here, the person gonna say yes. I'm gonna go with this yes. Okay, this is a type of information you need for RevMan. So in the RevMan, you are actually converting this table to a graph. Because at the end, we want to see, okay, from 5 articles you reviewed, what's the average bias of each article? How many biases available for each? How many percentage of all articles has at least one type of bias? This is kind of findings you need to discuss, and I will explain how to do that and the next step.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the one article, so you're gonna compute that for the all articles. I'm gonna copy now all of them together. So in your real work, it's not gonna be like this. So it's gonna have. You should read that, right? Whenever you have this table, so then you can go with RevMan. So I'm gonna go to RevMan here. This is a RevMan, and I will share you the file I'm using now, so you don't worry to go from the first step. If you want to go first, I'm gonna show you here. I will not generate this because it's so time consuming. If you go with this, click on this, right? Let me go back here. Click on the file. There's a lots of, let's mute this. Is it better, right? I muted someone, I don't know who, but I muted someone. Oh, here we go, just stopped. Oh, come on. For some reason, the RevMan is so slow in my computer. Hopefully we can get back. I have to wait for the response. Yes, Doris.
Download the RevMan. It's asking me something about a user something connection, a username and then password. What is that? Which one is that for me? Is that I'm creating my own?
No, you can just download as an offline. You don't need to download as an online system. If you go with the offline session, you can see a message like this. Can you see here? No connection.
Okay.
So, you know, the RevMan give you the option to stay as to use it as an online system or as an offline system.
Okay.
So download because yeah, at least one member should work on this RevMan. None of I encouraging all of you to learn about this, but so this is the job of one person to do all of the RevMan work. So don't go with the online version, Doris.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you should you should create an account and then you go with the username and password. And then when you have a username and password, then you can share the file with the team. So all of you gonna have a platform like something like, have you worked with a Google Doc?
Say what?
Have you worked with the Google Doc? I mean, the Word on the Google?
Yeah.
Yes, I
So
have.
the environment is very similar to that. So you can share the file over the cloud. That's good for the article that, for example, you are working with 5 members and each member are located in different states. So that's good to have that option. But so for the class, don't go with the online session. Okay, so here I'm not going through that. If you want to go create from the first, you can. Okay, you can click on the file, click on the new file, and then click on the methodology bias. So this type of the file I already have, this is the methodology part. I'm not caring about any other part of this study. Because basically you can generate your team project using the RevMan. But that's a different story. I don't need you to go with this because the RevMan gives you a platform for each piece of information you need for the systematic review. So I don't need you to go with this, stay with the class instruction, but use RevMan only for the bias table. Whenever you look at this, so you will find the published note. Under the published note, there's a character of included studies, and there's a sign here. You can click on the sign. And okay, first you need to add a study here. So for now, I included 2 study here just to show you how it works. But whenever you will receive this file, right? In the file, you have this one. You can click on this. And
Professor.
yes.
Sorry to interrupt. So I'm opening this. It's new, and then I get to the page where it's asking me to do either a protocol or a full review.
Methodology. Is it a method section? Can you see that method?
So I'll just start over. It has methodology review.
Yeah, select that.
And then it's asking me for a title.
Okay, you can go with the title of the class or any other title, group number. Something. Okay. You should just label it. Right.
And then it's asking me, once I did that, it's asking me to either click on protocol review or, protocol or full review.
Click on the protocol review.
Okay.
Yep. To escape all of those sections, I'm going to post this file to you. So the reason is because you also need to define the type of bias, and that's too much work. I'm going to give you the file because I already defined different type of bias in this file I already have. I'm just showing you how to populate the RevMan using the existing file. But yeah, that's the way you have to go. You have to go click new method section, go to the protocol. And then the full review asks you to complete the entire things. You need to go with the title of article. You should go with the defined data, everything. all of this information. Abstract, background, description of the problem issue. So it's a very complicated way to do it. Okay, I go here and I have to wait for the feedback from the RevMan. Okay, give me, so please let's wait to get back to the previous. Okay, finally we are here. Whenever you have this one, this file, you can click add a study, right? You can add a study. I'm gonna say Doris 2019, right? This is the study. I'm gonna work with that. I'm gonna say next, publish data only, yes, finish this study, right? I have this one. Wow, it's super slow. It will add a study probably after, because it sorted them alphabetically. First study is Azadi, the last is Zare. So any other author gonna stay between them, or maybe if, let's wait. I never expand. Cynthia, you have the same slow version, or it's in slow in my computer?
Well, I have
Okay.
I have the screen you have, but I'm not seeing the table that you
Okay.
have.
Yeah, because you have to define that. You cannot have that tables now. Whenever you have this, I'm going to look at the stories here, right? And then this is, okay, where is type of bias table? Okay, here, this is Doris. Whenever you add a study, the system will populate a table like this for you. The only thing you need to compute here is this selection bias. I say we have this, right? Let's put them together. We have this one. Someone please write this, or can let me write myself. Yes, no, yeah, yes, yes, no, unclear, and yes. This is all the information I need to enter in the RevMan. So the selection bias was yes, performance was yes, right? Detection bias was no. Attribution bias was
Unclear.
You know, the point is whenever you put unclear, you should put something here, otherwise you are not able to see in the plots. For the other yes and no, you don't need to add anything here, but for unclear, you should add. Reporting bias, it was yes, right? Other type of bias, no, we didn't look at that. New item, we don't need that, so let's stay with this. And if you go with this, this is all articles. See, automatically it's generated here. If you look at this, so whenever you complete this, you will see a table like this. When you have this table, you can look at this figure. Based on this figure, so this is the part of the qualitative analysis you need to discuss. I'm looking at whenever you compute it, for example, for the group with 3 articles, so we already have 3 articles here, right? If you have another article, you can add, for example, let's add 1 more article. So here, let's add another study, then see. Let's go with Lurpa. I'm gonna say you have a publication, or Lurpa, so it's your publication. And finished. I have to wait here. Usually you have not to wait, but so it's for some reason it's so slow. I have to wait. Should be placed like this. Come on.
In order to get this screen that you have there, Do you have to first, at the very top, add an author? I'm not sure how you're getting that because I'm not seeing that on my screen.
Yeah, you should. I will back to you. It's freezing now. I cannot do anything. Okay, here. You should click on this. Can you see? Character includer. Okay, you should click on this. And then you can add a study. You should have this one here. Add a study. Okay, this is for you, Lorpa. I'm guessing you have an article. There is no type of bias in your article. You did a great job and everything is fine. So I'm gonna go with this. No other bias. Let's say no. Unclear. So automatically this table generated. So let's assume we have everything entered in the RevMan and you have a table like this. This is the place happens. So I say if you don't add it unclear, you can see some. You will not see anything here. We should have unclear here. Or we should have unclear here. And if you look at this, you see this table. Okay, there is, for Zari, there is an article. I say unclear and I didn't define that. Let's see, where is that? ZARA here. Where is mine? I can't see that. Okay, risk of bias table. This is it, unclear. So if you look at this table, so now all of them is populated here. So now you have everything here. This is the two figure you should report in your team project. And then we need to discuss about this. For if I'm looking at this, for the selection, this is a three category here. Yes, low risk, yellow unclear, and red is in high risk. Based on these findings, I can say the selection, all the articles we reviewed had more likely to have less selection bias. Look at the green line, performance bias, and probably attrition bias. This is, let's just stay with more than 50. If it's more than 50, stay with a, go with a no. Anything with it. For example, if the green line is more than 50, stay with the green. If the red like this is more than 50, stay with that. So for example, here, there is no selection. There is a low risk of selection bias and performance bias in all the articles we reviewed. Potentially, there is this, the other is, there is a detection bias for all articles we review. Look at this. This is 75%, right? And for the other type of bias, reporting bias, 50-50, it's unclear. This is high risk. This is green. So I expected to see a little bit, for example, one more article to see how it's changed. But for now, I can say, based on the qualitative analysis, all the articles more less likely to have a selection and performance bias and attrition bias, and they more likely to have a detection bias. We are not clear. We need more study to include to understand about the reporting bias and other type of bias. So this is for this table, this figure, and here you can measure them here based on this. I can say 1, 2, 3, 4. So from all study, 100% of them has low risk of performance bias. This is actually the same, but with a number. 25 articles have detection bias. Has no detection, but less likely to have a detection bias. 75 articles, less likely to have attrition bias. 50% of articles more likely to have reporting bias. 50% less likely. The green is less likely. 50% of articles less likely to have other type of bias. And I'm going to remove these two because in the table in the class, I asked you only go with it 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to remove that, but I'm explaining now the current figures. And then you should copy this figure. You can click on the figure. I don't know why is it so slow. If you click on the figure, you can copy and paste on the Word document. Most part of the qualitative section back to type of review you are doing, summarizing the paper, and drafting the table of bias. And then when you have everything, you can just easily just add. You can click on this and copy, right? Right click, copy, figure. If I go to the Word document, I can paste it here. Let's paste here. I'm gonna go with Control V. Oh, what happened here? Didn't select. Let's back here. Copy, figure, copy. Oh, there's another copy. I have to wait to get the other one. I'm waiting. Copy, figure. Cancel this here. There's in some place like this. Come on.
Professor, just a quick question. I just want to
Sure.
make sure I understand right. So all your reviewed articles that we're supposed to review to populate all these biases are all articles that is focused on our topic, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that I got it right in my head.
Yes, yes. Okay, move down to edit figure, copy figure, should figure, and copy this. Copy figure and should be paste here. You paste here.
Oh, Professor?
Yes.
Yes, just quickly. So we can find these articles in the library section, right? For UMGC.
You can find those articles in the library section, or even you can Google it,
Google,
and then you can go to the Google Scholar.
Okay.
Copy and just highlight it and paste it. Do you will allow you to do it from like that?
You should be, whenever you click on the figure, it should be the figure should be open here. For some reason, it doesn't open here. So the figure should gonna open here, and then you can copy from that place. It's not working. You can print a screen, screenshot this, and just select and paste.
That's an alternative. Okay.
You can just go print a screen that, and then that's easy way. Otherwise, in the usual ways, just go and whenever you click on the, probably this can work on the, okay, here you go. Let's back. You can click on the edit and then copy. There's a copy instruction. Here, the copy is here. So then you can paste here. Let me go this to the end and then paste. Control V. This is it.
Okay.
This is all you need to know about RevMan. If you have any other question, oh my God, I just closed this file and didn't save it. Okay, I'm gonna do it again for you. Okay. Oh, so any other question for RevMan? I need to open it again.
I just need to practice it, and then I'll have questions. That's the only way I can have questions. I need to practice in it.
Okay. So I believe I didn't save. I saved at least 2 authors, but I believe I didn't save other authors. So let's wait for this. I'm gonna go back to the instruction and back to the RevMan later.
Professor, where do we find, you have like different instructions that you have pulled up for the assignment. And I'm not seeing where to get those specific instructions. I got mine from the assignment folder. It looks a little different.
You don't have this one?
No, I didn't see it either.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that. And even the chart that you have.
I believe I posted in the class a while ago. Are you sure you didn't have it?
We have the assignment 1 and 2, but we don't see this one. But I use the same thing as what Cynthia was saying. The the one assignment 3, and then I just copy and paste. But I think this one has more nicer draft, I say.
Yeah, sure. I can share this with you. Let me check the
Yeah,
class. Probably.
yeah, that detailed instructions, I didn't see it. I was looking for it.
I was thinking I posted in the announcement page. Let's see if I did not post it. I will send it to all of you or just put in the class.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Sure, you're welcome.
Definitely. That'll be a lot of help.
No, I haven't. Team projects, yeah, you are right. There is no, okay, you don't have this instruction. I'm going to add to the class instruction. I will email it to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, the reason why I was asking also is because I was wondering, you were saying that there was you had to summarize the articles, and then do the charts, and then input the yeses and nos and unclears into RevMan and get those diagrams, right?
Yes.
I was wondering where the summaries for these articles, where they were included.
Okay, let me review this, Cynthia. Okay, let me review the team project. So that was about the RevMan. Do you have any question about the RevMan? If not, I'm gonna go through the instruction for team assignments. Please watch the video. The RevMan, you should just for this project, you just need to graph the bias table for the RevMan. So I'm gonna share the file in the RevMan. You don't need to create a new file. You don't need to define the bias table. You just need to enter the data. Now, am I addressing your question, Cynthia? So please let me know if you have any other questions. So for the title, for the team project, go with this instruction. The first section is a title, so you know that. You should, before title, you have a title page. So in the title page, you're gonna have a title of your project. You're gonna list all the team members, right? You need to list all the team members and the group number. Please add your group number because for my previous class, I have to go and look for the group. So please add your name, the title, the list of group and the number of group and the group number. So this is for the title page. And then you're gonna go to the introduction. For the introduction, you should discuss your problem, why you are, for example, if you are working on the imaging center between MRI and PET-CT, two groups are working with that. The point is, why do you think this is an important topic? In the introduction, you have to encourage your readers to see why this topic is important, why you have to work on this, why I have to read this article, what type of the innovation you're going to provide here for me to encourage me to review that article. This is the introduction. For the introduction, I don't expect it more than 1 page. 2 or 3 paragraphs is enough. And for example, if you are working on the MRI, PET-CT, 1 paragraph going to discuss about the title together, why this topic is important. 1 paragraph going to discuss MRI, 1 paragraph going to discuss PET-CT.
PET-CT, yes.
If you are working on the black and white population, for example, for the ambulatory care, 1 paragraph going to discuss the why the ambulatory care is important. 1 paragraph going to discuss the findings in the black. 1 paragraph going to discuss on the white. And at the very end, you're going to add 2 or 3 lines and say, okay, because of this, for these articles, for this paper, for this project, we are going to address this question. And the question for your team project is a question format of your topic, right? For example, if you have a comparing MRI and CT, your question is going to be, is there any significant differences between? The hypothesis is the question, right? You can just convert to the question format for, is there any significant difference between MRI and CT? Or if you are working with black and white, we're going to say we are interested in the article to find more about, is there any significant differences between black and white in utilization ambulatory care, for example, something like this. And then The second section of this qualitative analysis is literature review. For the literature review, you're gonna have, you should, first thing first, you should summarize each article. For example, you have 3 articles, and for each article, you should go with at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 10 items, probably it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections. You have to have a very short introduction. The introduction of the article you are reviewing, not the introduction of your project. Research hypothesis of question of that article. The method section. The method section should include the data, which data they use, year of the data, and type of the research method. For example, I did a study, and for example, in the US in 2013, I compared the pneumonia between Black and white population. I used the Medicare national data by county, and I used the readmission rate in the US. My data is for 2013. This is type of. And for this study, I used the quantitative regression or regression model. I also use the t-test to compare the 2 populations together. This is type of the method section for my article, if you are reading my article. And then you should discuss about the findings. Findings of the article. Findings of the article should not, all of this section should not be more than 1 page. Each of them should be 2 or 3 lines maximum. The findings should be, actually most of them is in the apps. If there's a good article, most of the information you need is in the abstract. But sometimes you should go through the paper to find more about the data and type of analysis they did. Please don't copy paste from the abstract, but reword that. And then you should go with the findings and the discussion of the author, and then make sure to use the APA format to report this. Okay, this is about the type of article, about the literature review. So for example, if you have 1, 2, 3 articles, you're gonna with the first article, second article, the third article. And then whenever you have that, you're gonna go with the table like this. You will have a table number 1. Please make sure to use a table number and in text address that. For example, whenever you finish the summarizing of the articles, you're gonna say, okay, in the next section, we are going to use table bias to discuss about the quality of all articles, and we are considering 5 type of bias. You can copy the type of bias you are working from here, and in the table 1 we compared the type of bias for each articles, and then you're going to add the name of the articles here and the year, and then discuss yes, no, unclear. So the yes is for the high. I think the yes in the RevMan is for low risk, right? In the RevMan, the yes is for low risk. Let me change here. I will change it here. The yes is for low risk. And let me change this. Yeah, this is better. The low risk is yes, high risk is no, U is for unclear. Whenever you have this table, you can populate the bias table in the RevMan, and then you can just get the figure. And then for the figure, you have one paragraph to discuss the figures, because both figures are 2 different versions. If you look at this, they are the same format, right? So just this is overall mean, and this is the mean for each. Actually, here in the systematic review, we are talking about that. We're trying to use the quantitative methods, because the quantitative work with number, right? Work with number. The qualitative work with literature, text. We are trying to use the quantitative method to discuss qualitative findings. This is the way we are going with the systematic review. And if we go on detail, because there is a systematic review and this is a meta-analysis. In the meta-analysis, we are going to use the data from the article and actually calculate the findings. For example, if the articles compare the disparities between black and white, and for the meta-analysis, that is not part of this class, we're going to see the number of population they use in the article, and then if they say, okay, the diabetes percent is 10%, so I'm going to use the same numbers they use and try to duplicate their findings. And when I have 15 articles, I'm going to go with the average of all articles and say, okay, based on the 15 articles, and the ratio for the diabetes in Maryland, for example, is 22%. And it's the confidence interval move between 10 till 25, so something like this. But that's part of the meta-analysis. I'm trying to just define the, give you more discussion about the meta-analysis and systematic review. Now we are finished with this section. You should conclude this section. The conclusion is the findings, right? The findings, I discuss how to define your findings, not more than 1 or 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
And then you're going to go with the second section. The second section is a quantitative section, and you know already about that, right? This is exactly like individual assignment 1 and 2. You already did that.
Right.
And then you go with the questions. You're going to go with the method section. You're going to go with the describe the data sets, describe the variable. Make sure to use only the variable you use for the analysis. The reason for asking this question is I really like to see you understand the analysis. Because for some of you, for example, for the individual assignment 2, I review a few of them. I hope I finish them tomorrow all. You know, you discuss 4 different variables. Actually, for example, if I'm going to compare the black and white, you know, my voice is echoing. If some of you using the phone, please mute the phone. So then it will not be something like this. If you are comparing, for example, the percentage of black and white population using the eye exam, the 2 variable is the percent of eye exam in black, percent of eye exam in white. You don't have a year, you don't have the overall percentage, you only use the 2 variables. Please make sure to use 2 variables. If you are comparing MRI and PET-CT, 2 variables is the number of MRI procedure, number of PET-CT procedures. You don't, and this define that the number of procedures, number of MRI procedures is a continuous number. It started from 0 till the maximum number in the data sets. The code is numeric. The source of data, for example, is the imaging data for Minnesota, 2000. I believe the year of the data is 2013 for most of the class. And then describe the research method and attach the your finding, your result, and then attach the plots. And that's important. The important part is, you know, sometimes you did not recognize their findings and discussion. You know, the findings is, or are, I'm saying is because you are going to, for example, just two comparisons, not a lot of findings, right? The findings are whatever you can see from the data. For example, if you are comparing black and white population, and let me move this here, I can see, okay, let me change this, okay. I was looking at the other monitor, so that my face was on the other. You know, whenever you have comparing the black and white and for the percentage of diabetes, the findings is what you can see in the table. In the table, I can see 83% of white, 63% of black, has type of, these are the by default numbers, this is not the correct number, has have diabetes, right? This is the finding, and there's no significant difference. I said, let's look at this. The finding is what I can see here. I'm comparing the critical care with non-critical care. This rest of table is here. Let me add this one here. This is my findings. I compare 78 critical care access county. I compare the 67 non-critical access hospital in this county. The mean average is 550 for the critical. The mean average for the non-critical is 78.95. There is more variance between non-critical. There's less variance in the critical case, and this is significant. This is what I can see. The discussion is part of this. I cannot see, and I need to explain. Okay, this is part of discussion for this. There is a significant differences between the critical and non-critical care access, but probably because, for example, there is a little access for some states, probably there is some kind of insufficient resource for the non-critical care. Probably some of them are really big hospital, and because the standard deviation is really high. And based on these findings, based on this discussion, I'm gonna say, okay, if we want to pay attention to the critical access and non-critical access, more likely we need to go with a non-critical access, because there's a lot of variance between them. But if you want to trust the numbers, the number can I trust is a critical access, because there is a variance. Whenever you have a big variance, you cannot trust the number. For example, I have one person with $1 million income. I have one person with $100,000. I have one with 10,000. The average mean is about 1 million plus 100 plus 110 is 1,110,000 divided by 3 is $300,000. So that's incorrect, right? Because the variance in this example is about $900,000. But if I'm in the population with a five person, one person is 80, 90, 60, 200, I'm gonna came up with 85,000 as average income. That's trusted. The difference is a 25,000. I'm just making an assumption for this number. Discussion is part of the findings. It's your thought based on the findings. And the conclusion is part of the discussion. The last section of the last two lines of this, the discussion is a conclusion. Please, you don't need to add a discussion and conclusion for the analysis you are doing. For if you are working with a real analysis, you are working with 10 different variables, you are working with a multiple years, so then you should summarize them as a conclusion. For the class, there is no complicated analysis, so you don't have even conclusion. The discussion, the two lines of the end of the discussion is a conclusion. This was the most, a problematic section for almost most of the individual assignment 1 and 2. So please make sure to fix that on the team project. This is all you need for the team project. Whenever you have this file ready, each member should review this file and add or edit or something. And please be respectful for your edits. If someone edited the file, do not read. It's better to track changes the file so each member can see what you did. But please be respectful. If someone believes that this is not better to change the word, so stay with that. So please respect each other to have a very good project. Okay, any question for me? Yeah, for the team project.
For literature review.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
So that portion goes right under the introduction, right? And
after introduction.
Right after the introduction. And so we're doing 5 articles, so we should have, I guess, what, 5 paragraphs? Is
5 pages.
5 pages?
5 pages.
So 1 page per article?
1 page per article, because for each article you should discuss this.
So
A short introduction for each article, research hypothesis, method section, findings and discussion. For each article you should have at least this 5 section. I just break them in a different 8, 9, 10 section.
Okay.
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 So, and then you have the.
Go ahead.
The table and the RevMan graph or figure right after that.
Yes.
And then you proceed on with the rest of the paper as you would with assignment 1 and 2.
Yes.
Should look about the same.
Yes.
Okay.
And Professor, you stated that you're going to also put this in the class, the instructions for the team, right?
Yes,
right here, you're going to send us this format because we do, if I'm correct.
Yes, I'm going to send this format to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. Okay, any other question for the team project? If you don't have any question, I'm gonna go to review. Do you have any question for exercise 4 or 5? If you don't have any questions, so I'm not going through that. If you have, I can review the regression model for you.
Yeah, I do. I have questions about exercise 4. So
okay,
we're focusing on regression.
Okay, let me go. Can you see my RStudio, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you know, the codes provide more information, but the exercise 4 only asks you about the regression model. So for the exercise 4, we are going to run a linear multiple regression model. And do you know why I'm using the multiple regression instead of the simple regression? What's the differences between simple and multiple regression?
Not sure.
Okay. You know, in week 3, we reviewed the ANOVA, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ANOVA is a simple regression.
Okay.
With 3 variables, 1 dependent and 2 independent variables. Whenever you have whenever you have only 3 observations, I mean 3 different variables, you can go with the ANOVA. The ANOVA give you the same result as regression. Whenever you have more than 3 variables, for example, in the example 1, I have benefit, hospital bed, and ownership. But for the ownership, I have 4 categories, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
So if I break them to different categories for 0 and 1, I have benefit 1, hospital bed 2, I have ownership 1, 2, 3. I'm including actually 6 variables in the model. Because the ownership is going to be so okay. If you divide it, do you know what's the dummy variable? Have you heard dummy variable?
I don't think.
Okay, the dummy variable is the 0 and 1. 0 stay with no, 1 stay with yes. For example, when you have the these are the ownership, right? This is the ownership. We have non-for-profit, we have for-profit, public. We have 4 groups here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna go and generate a dummy variable for them, I'm gonna say, okay, it should be something like this. 1 stay for the non-for-profit, 0 stay for all of them, all other parts. 1 stay for for-profit, 0 stay for any other part. 1 stay for the public, 0 stay for other parts. 1 stay for other, 0 stay for any other hospital. Actually, the regression model uses 4 different variables and consider the first one, non-for-profit, as a reference group, and then run the regression. For that reason, ANOVA doesn't answer the question here. For that reason, we're going to the multiple linear regression.
Okay.
That's explanation for why we are using the multiple regression. And if you see the codes here, I changed the codes from the 0, 1, 2, 3 to the factor codes. Whenever you change the code to the factors, actually, it's very similar to defining 4 different variables and including the model. The variable I have defined here, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So basically, this command tells our studio, okay, go ahead and change the ownership to the 4 different variables and then include them in the model. This is what's happening here. Now for the exercise 4, we have 3 models, right? Anyone work with that? You have the same data, so you should read the data. Then we have 3 models. I believe it was 3 models, right? The model 1 is just comparing the benefit and hospital bed and ownership, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me open the file because probably some of you didn't look at the file. Let me open the file. On this PC. Okay, what happened to my computer? Let me see. I'm not able to see. File, open, browse.
I have mine up.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
If you share, I'm gonna go back and share my screen again. So let me open it to you. Thank you.
No, that's okay.
Okay, let's say modification, UMUC, chair. Modification, and then it should be all exercise. Here. Oh, it's, come on, I opened a different file. I wanted to open the file. I opened the instruction. Okay. Okay, all exercise modified. Oh, it's final exam. Let's don't open it. Okay. Okay.
You can open that.
I will open. I will review the final exam in week 7. No worries. Okay. Okay. This is model 1. We're gonna have a hospital bed and ownership, right? Because the dependent variable, there's no coefficient for dependent variable here. I'm running this model 1. You should first make sure to just convert the ownership to this. If you run the codes, it's going to be okay. But I have to convert this, and then this is the result of this. This is a regression model, right? The regression tells me that the hospital beds, the hospital beds more likely to increase the benefit for the hospital by $40,000. So a hospital with 1 more bed expected to have $50,000 benefit, annual benefits. It makes sense, right? And this is significant. Also, model report owner 1, owner 2, and owner 3. This is the coefficient based on this. Look at the ownership. 0 non-for-profit, 1 for-profit, 2 public, and 3 other. Regression, use the first group as a reference group and compare the other group with this. So basically, you don't have the coefficient for non-for-profit. If you go back to the question asks you for non-for-profit, right? There is no coefficient for this because it's a reference group. You should report non-applicable, right? It's nothing here. And for-profit, you have this one. This is it. This is negative, but not significant. And for the other one, you can just what was the other one? Other. Okay.
So where it says only 12 and only 11, so only 11 is for profit?
Yeah, there's a note in the code, right?
Yeah.
The 0 is for non-for-profit, 1 is for-profit, 2 is public, and 3 for other. The question asks you the coefficient for non-for-profit and the other.
Correct.
So you don't need to report all of them. You should report the number 1 and number 3. The coefficient here. This is the coefficient.
Okay.
This is the standard deviation.
Got it.
Look, a standard error. Actually, look at this. This is estimate. The estimate is a coefficient, and the standard error show how much variances exist in the data. And then question asks you about the R-square, right? I believe I explained in instruction, but let me review here. The R-square it does mean that, okay, how many, your model, how your model capture all the variance in the data. So for example, if you look at the this R-square here, there's 0.04. Based on this data, this is adjusted. Look at this R-square here, 0.048. Very similar to each other. If you multiply to 100, this model only predicts 4% of the results. I mean, 95%, usually you cannot, any regression, you cannot see more than 20 or 30% of the prediction. So if you find a regression model with R-square 0.90, so there's some problem with the data. This model predicts only 4% or 0.04, 5% of the variance. We need to compute them. We need to add more variable to get a better result. And then for the n number of observation, it should be n plus k plus 1, right? Or you should be n, the degree of freedom, plus number of variables in the model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 5? I computed the 5.
Intercept?
That's a non-for-profit, right? No, the intercept is a constant. It means in any situation there is a intercept is a constant. Usually you can see the constant in the model. So the ownership number 1 is a reference group. Basically, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 variables in the model, right?
You're counting the non-for-profit as well, right?
Exactly. I'm counting that. The other way is just going to be n plus number of observation you can see here, plus number 1. Because if you remember the ANOVA, to find the degree of freedom, it was k minus 1, right? It was a number of group minus 1. I have 4 group here. I can 3025 plus 4 plus 5 plus 1. Or you can compute the based on the real variables here. Okay, this is model 1, and then I have model 2. The model 1B is a categorical variable for hospital bed, so I just run this for my curiosity. Model 2, I add a system member. If I add a system member, what happened to the model? The still hospital bed is significant but reduced. Still the ownership is not significant. The direction didn't change. It still is negative. But the system membership more likely to add benefits. Hospital in the system more likely to have higher benefits by $500,000. This is significant. And if you look at the R-square is 0.05. This model give me better result than the previous model because the R-square increased 1%. So this is for second model. If you go with the third model, let's see this one. I'm adding 2 more variables to this. I have a system member, I have a Medicare discharge and Medicaid discharge ratio. And I see whenever I add the Medicare and Medicare discharge, the significance for this system member disappeared. So now there's no longer, but still I see the hospital beds. The hospital is still significant positive. The direction for ownership is the negative. The direction for system member is positive, but it's not significant. The direction for Medicare and Medicare ratio is negative. So it means that's interesting finding. I expected to see the Medicare as a positive because the Medicare pay more money to the hospital. But probably these hospitals located in the community with higher Medicare and Medicaid patients. For that reason, the hospital don't receive enough benefit from the providing the services. Both of them are significant and negative. So if you look at the p-value, R square here, 0.19, this model gives me better projection by 90%. So if I want to choose the model, I'm going to choose the last model. This is type of the discussion you should add in exercise 4.
So, Professor, just
yes.
Want to. So for the number, the n would be the 2969 right there for the Model 3 plus. Assuming 8.
Plus 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
Okay, I got it right.
Yeah. And you know why this is 2969, not 3024? What happened here? Why this is 3024 and this is 2969? This is very simple. Don't think so deeply. So what do you think? If there's some missing in the Medicare data, that's the reason the number reduced. Whenever you have a missing in the observation in any variables, regression eliminates entire data for that. For that reason, treating the missing is really important for any regression analysis. That's so the researchers trying to compute some kind of the multiple imputation techniques, kind of imputing the mean and including the dummy variable in the model. So that's so advanced class. So probably if you go to the master and I will be teaching you, so then I will discuss that. So for now, I'm not teaching the master in the UMUC. So, but if you choose another university, I'm teaching that. So probably we can discuss more about the detail of the kind of the regression we can see. Okay, Rita, Lorpa, did I answer your questions?
I kind of know how to look at my, but I do have some questions as to some of the figures, because I know for the regression, usually is the R. In the system, you have adjusted R squared, and then you also have R squared. So
no, there's adjusted R squared.
Like if we didn't have this conversation, I was going to be a little puzzled as to which residuals was I supposed to pick based on, because I'm looking at multiple R square and versus adjusted R square.
Yeah, the adjusted R square, the adjusted based on the degree of freedom. So we go usually with a multiple R square.
So we'll go with the multiple R square.
Yes. Okay. Most of the time you expected to see the lower adjusted R square. Most of the time. Okay. Any other questions?
I do have one question.
Sure,
and
go ahead.
I mean, I hope I'm not sounding repetitive, but so for exercise 4, there's no separate codes. Everything is in RStudios in the console area. Okay. Because for some reason, my in RStudio, I mean, everything is pretty much showing up blue. It looks different.
No, there is a sync command. You can run this and see everything in the sync.
Okay.
There is, yeah. The other part is similar. So if you, for example, if you look at this, this is week 5. I can say exercise 4 and run this and see this one. E4. And if I run this one, you can see everything in this text file.
Okay.
You should have something like this, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I have.
Yeah. And if I go to drive C, UMUC, I can see everything there.
Okay.
See UMUC, and if I sort by the date, I'm glad you can see my folders here. Okay.
Professor,
But yes, there is.
I need to report the p-value, right? I know it didn't ask, but I was reviewing your video posted that.
Yes, the p-value is here, exactly. Thank you for asking, Doris. You have this one, Teresa. Teresa, okay. The p-value, you can, this is the p-value.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can report the p-value or you can report the asterisk. They are meaning the same. If you look at the note here, see, this is a note, can you see? This is a note. 3 asterisks go with the thousands. And if you look at this, there is a 1, 2, 3 0 here, 2 0 here, it's a 1 0 here, this is 1, right? So it's a 5%, 1%, and less than 1% in 10%. Usually the econometrician use the 1.10, but usually by default the epidemiologists prefer to use a 5%. This is by default 5%.
So it's either the asterisk or the value itself, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can report p-value or you can report the asterisk. Both means the same.
Okay.
Yep. And if there's no asterisk, it does mean there's no significance.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, we are 4 minutes over the time. I don't like to interrupt your evening. So you still have 1 more day to stay at home and enjoy your time. Okay, thank you, class, for being here. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And if you have any question, thank you very much.
Professor, happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you. And
Happy Thanksgiving, Professor. Thank you.
Same to you.
Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. Thank you, class. Okay, class. Thank you for being here. Trakan, thank you so much. Okay, enjoy your time. Goodbye, class.
Goodbye.
This is the end of meeting. Goodbye.